Phoenix. Lieutenant Kim is dead. So we've fallen back inside the tomb and we need a way out of here.
Repeat, Alpha. Kim is dead?
Confirmed, Control. KIA.
Roger that. There's a courtyard at the other end of your building. That's your best bet.
Copy that.
Well, we sure as shit can't stay here.
You're Baird.
Yeah, that's right, asshole. Question is, who are you? Oh, shit. Quiet. Don't move.
What was that?
A berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us. Get out of here. We gotta get fucking out of here, man.
Oh my God. Control, this is Delta. We have a berserker in the vicinity. Please advise.
Hold your fire, Delta. Standard weapons won't work. Do you still have the Hammer of Dawn?
Affirmative, Control.
You've only got minutes of satellite coverage. Get her outside and use the hammer. That's the only thing that'll work.
Wilco, Delta out. All right, guys, sit tight. We came here to help you, and that's what we're gonna do. Dom, let's go.
This device is where Mirror first learned to control her power, but we can also use it to sever your leg, if you choose.
So how does it work?
By mildly damaging your brain.
What? By mildly damaging her brain?
Her connection to the locust is based on a genetic algorithm inside her temporal lobe. Altering that requires anesthesia, you could say.
Sounds like a lobotomy.
A lobotomy is highly invasive. This is directed. While I work, the Matriarch will guide your mind, undetected, to where it must go.
Okay, all right. No. You are not doing this. I do not trust this can.
Then watch him. But I have to do this. I'm losing control. I won't hurt anyone else, understood?
Understood.
I will make this as painless as possible.
Yeah, you better.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Skull and Bones 2 here, and in today's Gears of War lore video, we are going to be covering the lore of the Matriarch from Gears of War 5. So, I didn't want to give any spoilers from the campaign. The game literally came out last week, so I wanted to wait until this week so everybody got to play for it and everything. And now that that's done, everybody's seen campaign, hopefully. I can go in depth with a lot of the stuff that was revealed behind the origins of the Locust, and just more stuff that brought up a lot more questions that I would have expected instead of answers. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the Matriarch was actually the very first Berserker ever made, and it was introduced to the Locust Horde in 42 AE, the Pendulum Era. Actually, take that back. It was introduced into the early Pendulum Era, and it died in 42 AE. So this thing, the Matriarch, was designed as a weapon to manifest Mira's telepathic connection to the Locust. This allowed her to speak to the Locust through a hive mind-like state, or it was kind of like a psychic type state that allowed her to communicate with the Locust through her head, and then she would branch out and speak to everybody else instead of speaking to them. It was very effective that way. It was how she was able to use them as a weapon. It was how she was able to be like dominant over them. The thing that is the most craziest is that the Matriarch was basically designed to make the Locust the weapon for the Cog. They were designed to be used as weapons for the Cog, but like top secret weapons, like beasts that would be like guard dogs, kind of unleashed, and you wouldn't really like hear about them because, you know, it's kind of messed up. But it turns out that Mira ended up having a baby, and Niall Samson told her that her baby died, Mira, and that caused Mira to have an outbreak and use the Matriarch to tell the Locust to like slaughter everybody in the facility they were in, and then they fled to Mount Kadar. Now, the scientist that took Reyna was her father. I don't know his name exactly. I forgot. I'd have to go look at it. But basically, he took Reyna because he saw that what was going on in the labs wasn't okay. So basically, he just took the baby and left. And that's what set Mira off and just made her have this hatred towards humanity. She thought that her baby was killed, essentially. The craziest thing that I found was the fact that the Matriarch is the first Berserker. But the second thing is that Niall Samson intentionally lied to spark this whole thing. Like, if you thought Mira was insane, this dude takes it to a whole nother level. It's crazy how they revealed a lot of the stuff that happened in this game. And I'm kind of glad they did. Clarifies a lot of stuff too. But the Matriarch also, if you see, it's the very first female Locust that was bred from Mira stem cells and sire DNA. So it was kind of like one of the original Locusts. And if you go explore the lab in Gears 5, you can see that there's multiple Locusts with like needles sticking out of their back, but they don't really look that Locusty. I mean, they do, but they don't. It's because those are kind of like the very first Locust as well, but they're all frozen. What happened is the Matriarch, after everybody left the lab and everybody was killed, essentially, the AI construct of Niall Samson was left to watch over the lab and the Matriarch, but still allowed Mira to communicate with the Locust, even though she didn't really need it that much. It was still there in its stasis tank for the decades and decades to come. What happened after that is that Del and Kate wanted to go find the origins behind what was happening with Kate in the swarm. They went to the lab, killed Niall Samson, killed the Berserker or the Matriarch, and yeah, so it was kept in that stasis tank for a really long time, and it was basically there to fill the gap of communication from the Queen to the Horde. And it's just crazy how they implemented that. I would have never knew. I actually did a lore video a long time ago talking about how Mira was able to connect to the swarm, and it was through like a symbiote, through a hive mind type thing. And I was wrong about that. I'm surprised. I didn't really know that they would have given us this is the definite answer of how it happened. Now, we've gotten multiple Berserkers in the past. You guys know the regular Berserker, Lambent Berserker, and now this Berserker, each having a different iteration. Out of the 3 Berserkers that we've ever gotten, the first Berserker seems to be the most solid, strongest, and defensive. The most, it looks like it's the most sturdiest one out of them all. The reason I say that is because it doesn't have any weak points. You can't really break it. It's immune to any type of ammunition besides flammable ammunition and the Hammer of Dawn, so like extreme heat. And And when are you gonna find weapons that are gonna do that? You know, like it's very rare on an occasion you're gonna get a Hammer of Dawn in your hands or a flammable weapon. Then next up we have the Gears 3 Berserker, which was infected by the Lambent virus, and it was coursing with emulsion, running with emulsion through its veins. And that Berserker had an opening through its chest, which left it vulnerable. It could only attack by opening its chest, then closing it, and just made it really easy to kill. It also, like, every time it exploded, it was like a fucking nuke when it blew up. And on top of that, it left like a emulsion leakage trail. If you ran into it after it left that trail, you would like get damaged. Then the next one that we had was the Matriarch, which was the first Berserker. And that Berserker had a heart kind of on its back. I don't know why that's there or who designed it to have that. But that's like one of the most stupidest things, because that allows it to get destroyed. It leaves it wide open and vulnerable. But this Matriarch Berserker, the first Berserker, is the only Berserker to actually have weapons that it can use, and the weapons are the spikes on its back. It can actually rip them off and throw them at you and impale you with them. So that's the first Berserker to actually ever have a weapon. Now the Lambent Berserker did have weapons. It had these little like tendrils, spike tendrils on its back, and then it would like use it to traverse and stab opponents. But it was like mostly a up close and personal type unit. It got in your face and it would like grand slam you and Hulk slam you and shit like that. Same thing with the original Berserker. Berserker would just run at you, like literally just, it would run through you and squish you. It would trample you, pull you apart, do whatever it needed to do, but it was all dealing with fists. So the Matriarch was very unique in that sense. But anything else, like dealing with the lore of these three Berserkers, all fit into the Matriarch. You know, like it's kind of crazy thinking that the Locust, they kind of would have been lost if there was no Matriarch. The Matriarch guides them kind of through this like hive mind network. And it's crazy how when the Locust, well, they didn't really die out, but when the Locust evolved into the Swarm, the Matriarch, it's like its head state evolved with the Swarm as well, so it was able to fit in with the Swarm's new hive mind, which I kind of find like it's kind of cool. It kind of like updated itself with its new brethren and stuff, so I think that's pretty cool. In a way, if you think about it, since the Matriarch was made from Mira's stem cells, it was Mira's child. If you think about it, like one of Reina's sisters, because that's the only, and I repeat, the only creature that was made from the same DNA besides Reina and Kate that have the hive mind ability. So let's say in the event that everybody else were to die, there was no Reina, there was no Kate, technically the Matriarch is what would be communicating for the Swarm and the Locust. It would need a host, so they'd probably have to grab somebody. And what the Matriarch would do is just train you to use your abilities. But in the sense, if nobody's there, the Matriarch still could kind of control things. It could get things going, which I find pretty cool to know. But because Reina and Kate are the children of Mira, and they have this like genetic gene passed down that Mira acquired when she was tested on as a child and went through various tests and acquired the ability to have telepathy. Reina and Kate somehow have it through their genes, and it's something that's in their frontal lobe, and it's able to be cut off or connected. Reina didn't find out about this ability until after she was killed and hooked up to the Swarm hive. And then Kate, when she wanted to disconnect her telepathy connection, she accidentally awakened Reina and gave Reina her ability, if that makes sense. So instead of Kate making things better, she kind of made things worse by going to the Matriarch and trying to get things out of her head. Mira kind of egged her on and made the matter worse, but then again, it's the Locust Queen. What can you do? So if you guys really enjoyed this video and this cleared up a lot of confusion you guys had wondering what the Berserker was in the stasis tank, I hope this clarifies it for you. This is your boy Skull and Bones 212, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.